Thank you again, Secretary Noem, for being here. I just want to follow up briefly with Chairman Paul's questions about the cost of the wall, the billions of dollars that are going to be put forward. We do have to have accurate numbers so that we could look at that for funding it. But I would hope you also take a look at all of the cost of a wall, because there are a lot of other secondary kinds of defenses you have to put forward. I was at the wall. I've been with security folks. They tell me that a lot of the cartels have designed very sophisticated technologies to get over the wall. They're called ladders and they're called ropes. So a wall doesn't really do the job if there's not a lot of other background technologies there. So you just can't put out a cost for the wall. That's money that's not going to be as effective without everything else. So let's have a discussion about that. For the first time in U.S. history, the federal government, at the direction of President Trump, is moving immigrants apprehended and detained in the United States on civil immigration charges to Naval Station at Guantanamo Bay, which I know you're very familiar with. In March, I traveled to Guantanamo Bay with several colleagues to have a firsthand examination of the detention operations underway. And I certainly have serious concerns about the cost involved there. To date, can you tell us the total cost for detaining individuals at Guantanamo Bay?
This hearing revealed a sharp debate about the true costs and priorities of U.S. immigration policy. Lawmakers pressed the Homeland Security Secretary on two major issues: the expense of detaining migrants at Guantanamo Bay and compliance with congressional oversight rules. To stay informed about clear breakdowns of hearings like this, remember to subscribe for more updates.
Okay.
You want the cost per individual?
Do you have that?
I do not have that with me today, sir. I can get that for you.
Well, I do have a number. Do you know how much it costs to hold an immigrant in ICE detention facility in the United States? Do you have that number?
Are you talking per day? I believe the last estimate that I got was $142 a day, around in that approximately, per day?
Yeah, but it's close to what I'm understanding. I understand it's $165 per day, so it's in the range. I'm still waiting for detailed financial information from this administration from my time to Guantanamo Bay. In fact, a letter with Chairman Paul and the ranking member together, we wanted more information on the cost there. When I was there, the 2-month cost estimate for operations was $43 million when we were down there talking to the officials there. And that does not include transportation to and from the island. We find that people are sent to the island and then they're sent back to the United States again before they're sent out. I'm not sure why we have all those costs. We have plenty of ICE facilities to keep them here. Why you have to send them there and back. And on the day that I visited, there were 87 people in custody. And my understanding is that's a pretty normal number. At that time, at least. So my back of the napkin calculation, we're waiting for your numbers, is that it's costing about $100,000 a day to keep someone at Guantanamo Bay. Man, this is like ripe for Doge. Why is Doge not down there? We're spending $100,000 a day to keep someone at Guantanamo. And we fly them down there, we keep them there a while, then we fly them back to the United States. Or we could keep them here for $165 a day. I think that's kind of outrageous. So, I'm concerned by the staggering cost of this. And I would hope, Secretary, you could commit providing this committee a detailed breakdown of the total cost of that operation there. There were just a sea of empty beds. There was all sorts of security folks and nobody in those beds, which is why it's so expensive. So Chairman Paul will probably use this on his Festivus report later, I'm sure, of outrageous government spending, and I'll look forward to seeing that. Secretary Noem, are you familiar with Section 872 of the Homeland Security Act of 2002?
It sounds familiar, sir. You'll have to remind me the topic, yes.
Well, Section 872 requires you, as Secretary, to provide a 60-day notice to Congress of any creation, deletion, consolidation, or alteration of organizations within the department that are not required in statute, which must include an explanation for the rationale behind any charges. It also prohibits you from making any changes to offices in the status. So my question for you is, why have you not provided notice to Congress of the changes you are making at the department? And will you be doing so in the near future? And will you include intended reduction in forces in that? For example, you've already terminated virtually the whole Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Office staff without any communication to Congress about your intent. And the only letter yesterday claiming all of the statutory responsibilities would be met, you sent a letter, but it conflicts certainly with the whistleblower disclosure that I received last week. So please explain to the committee why you are not following this law.
Well, Senator, we are following that law. Those offices that you referenced are still open and functioning and providing their duties as required, but they have been right-sized. Many times the Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, or the Ombudsman Office, which you and I visited about before, had grown quite expansive. They were used as a political tool, suing and attacking each other and censoring individuals and not doing the job for which they were created. So we've right-sized them, put them back on mission. And if there would be an instance to where notification is required, I certainly will follow that.
One senator raised concerns that the wall, heavily promoted by the previous administration, is not an effective standalone defense. He pointed out that cartels use basic tools like ladders and ropes, which means billions spent on construction may not deliver real security without supporting technology. The message was that cost estimates must account for more than just concrete and steel. If you value these kinds of straightforward explanations of complex hearings, please feel free to subscribe. The senator then shifted focus to Guantanamo Bay. For the first time in U.S. history, civil immigration detainees are being held there. He compared costs, noting that detaining someone in an IC facility in the United States is about $165 a day, but at Guantanamo Bay, the price tag appears to be closer to $100,000 per person per day once operations, security, and flights back and forth are included. He argued that this is a staggering misuse of taxpayer money, especially when many beds on the island sit empty. Subscribe if you want to stay informed on how government spending choices are scrutinized in Congress. Another critical issue was compliance with Section 872 of the Homeland Security Act of 2002. The law requires a 60-day notice to Congress before making organizational changes inside the department. Senators accused the Secretary of ignoring this rule after staff reductions in offices like civil rights and civil liberties. The Secretary responded by insisting that the offices remain open, but have been scaled back to focus on their core mission. Critics argue this looks more like gutting oversight functions without proper notice. If you find these accountability debates important, subscribe so you don't miss future coverage. The overall theme of this exchange was about trust and transparency. Lawmakers are pressing for detailed cost breakdowns and lawful communication before changes are made to sensitive offices. With taxpayer dollars and constitutional oversight at stake, hearings like this matter far beyond politics. Stay tuned for more reporting like this, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates.